y'all, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the Social Tea here. I'll be here talking about all things social, including celebrity news, reality shows, and what's going on in pop culture. In other words, I'll be spilling the tea and telling everybody's business. However, we know folks always give their feelings, so I must say all things stated here are alleged and are my opinion only. Now, before we get our teacups out, make sure you hit the notification bell, like, share, and subscribe. So, with that being said, relax, get comfortable, and let's get into it.
Ooh, this Tasha K interview with the quote unquote side chick was a lot. It was one. It was just a lot. So when the interview started, or before the interview came on Tasha K's platform, she showed, I guess, a phone call with Rocky Bivens. And so that was a type of interview or a call that she had with him prior to the interview with the mistress. And when the phone call started out, he sounded, oh, he sounded all right. Not confident, but he sounded okay. But once Tasha told him she has receipts, he started fumbling and mumbling all over the place. Then Rocky says that Unique was stalking him. And he just didn't sound confident at all on the phone. I mean, he sounded nervous. He was rambling all over the place. Then he starts talking about R. Kelly. And he starts talking about how he has people in the federal government. And he started putting Kandi's husband Todd into it. I'm like, what does Todd have to do with you messing with this girl? Because I don't see you and Todd being cool like that, especially because Kandi and LaTocha really don't like each other. So I know y'all not cool. But he never says that he wasn't with Unique. He never says that. He's deflecting the whole time. The entire time. If Lion was a person, it would be him. Like he was just fumbling and mumbling all over the place. Then he starts to talk about there's only so much he can say. He starts talking about Unique, how she got 3 kids. And I'm like, okay, if you don't really know her like that and she's stalking you, how you know she got 3 kids? Then he goes on to tell her government name is Tijuana. Like, okay, well, how do you know all this about her? Then he just kept talking about how the situation with her was federal. And he starts deflecting. Then he starts talking about Kandi. I'm like, like, bro, you're caught. You're caught. Then he starts talking about other dumb rumors, and he starts putting stuff out there with Tiny and some Trini. It was just like, okay, you're picking for straws, trying to make something stick. Then he says that Tamika knew that Sound Exchange was giving her sister LaTocha the money. Like, what? That girl did not know. Everybody, you can look at when Tamika tells the story about the whole 30K situation and Kandi and Tiny Face. you can look at them and be like, yeah, that dude took her money. She didn't know anything about it. And I believe her sister knew about it as well. Then he says that Xscape is trying to tear him down. And I'm just like, he has no out. Like, this is just a man that's on the phone rambling. And I mean, all over the place. He just kept saying the feds were involved. I'm like, what? So then we go on, and Tasha K asks him, how does he get paid? He never states how he makes his money. He goes on to say how he's been in the industry for 30 years. Then Tasha K asks him flat out if he ever had an affair. He never says no, but he does say that he's not perfect and he's not a saint, which is an admission of guilt. And he goes on to say how he has power, but he's not famous. What does that even mean? I mean, I know what he means, but I mean, you don't look like a person that can snap your fingers and make things happen. He just doesn't. He just sounds, at this point, he sounds like a clown. And then they start talking more. And then he basically told Tasha K that he can make her Cardi B situation go away. Like, it was like he was on the phone with Tasha K and trying to bribe her. Like, so then Tasha K goes on to tell him that she has receipts, not just from Unique or Tijuana, but from other women. He just keeps going on and saying that the situation is federal and it's not much he can say. Then he tells Tasha K that he cannot have kids, and the reason why he can't have kids is because he has a medical issue. Like, every time he was trying to deflect, he just made it worse. It felt like he was saying nothing at all, but he was saying everything at the same time, if that even makes sense to anybody. So then Tasha K, I guess she was like, you know what? I'm just about to put this ninja in his place. She told him, she like, bruh, you stuttering all over the place and it does not look good for you. And then Rocky goes, well, yeah, all my peoples and my friends told me that I shouldn't call you. Tasha K said, yeah, that's about right. Most ninjas wouldn't. You should have took their advice. You should not have called me. Then Tasha K went on to tell him that he can send her information if he needs to prove Unique, aka Tijuana, wrong. However, he just goes on to say that he can't send her anything. Then he says him and Tasha K can meet up, but never says when or where they can meet up. And that was pretty much the end of their phone call. He was just all over the place. Just literally all over the place. He sounded like a ninja that just got caught, that was trying to do anything to deflect the situation. But that phone call pretty much put the interview that we as the viewers were about to see in perspective. Because without that, I believe that, we still would have believed it, but the phone call with Rocky was just a stamp, just to put the stamp, a cherry on top. It just solidified the girl's interview and everything that she was saying. So then I watched the interview. Tasha K talks about how the interview was not planned. And then they start talking about how Tasha K didn't believe Unique. Unique says that her intentions was not to hurt Rocky by outing him, that she still loved him, blase blase. But after the Soul Train Awards, that's when she came out that everybody knows that's when she came out on IG stating that she was pregnant by Rocky. So, everybody thought that she was clout chasing, and a lot of people thought that the sonogram was fake. Like I said in my previous videos, she did look like a bit of an industry chick. So, I mean, men in that industry, they often cheat. So it wasn't like I didn't believe her. She just didn't look credible. So Unique goes on and say that she was telling the truth about what she put out on IG. But she also says that everyone calling her a liar was getting under her skin. Because the situation was not a lie and it was in fact the truth. So Tasha K asked her how old she was. She never stated her actual age, but she said she was in her 30s. I give her mid to late 30s. I think it came out that she's like 36, 37. So I was right. She states that her and Rocky had been together 5 years as of July 2022. She also said that she had been pregnant by Rocky 3 times. She goes on to say that Kandi is not paying her. Again, because everybody likes to blame Kandi. She says Kandi is not paying her. That she did meet Kandi one time at one of Kandi's bedroom Kandi events. But the whole situation of how her and Rocky met and all that has nothing to do with Kandi. Y'all do not blame Kandi. It's not her fault. She did not hook them up. She is not trying to put the whole situation and spin it her for her. So this has nothing to do with Kandi at all. Tasha K asks, did she meet Kandi while she was involved with Rocky? She basically said, yeah, it was a coincidence. She goes on to say that she likes Kandi. She likes her business ethic. She thinks Kandi is a real cool chick. I agree with her. Kandi is a real cool chick. So then Unique goes on to say that she was with Rocky consistently for 5 years. And around the time of the Soul Train Awards, she had had her breaking point, I guess, with their relationship. She says that their plan, her and Rocky's plan, was for him to build on his own, I guess build his business back up, and for him to move money to her, and then they were supposed to buy a house after he left LaTocha. But then Tasha K asks, well, wait, doesn't he make money off his wife? And she shook her head like, yeah. And so I was like, wow, that's a lot. So he was really telling this girl that he was planning to leave his wife. And I believe her. So she talks about as time goes on, she started to, you know, ask Rocky how long would it be before he left his wife. She says as years went on, she realized that they never really did anything that they actually talked about and planned on doing. Then they went into the pregnancy relationship. And she said that she was pregnant by Rocky 3 times. That must be the side chick magic number. It seems like side chicks get pregnant 3 times by the husband. That's crazy. But anyway, she states that her first pregnancy was September 2021. Um, she also says that Rocky was actually happy about the pregnancy at first. They was making plans, and then all of a sudden, she felt like he had a deja vu or realization moment, like um, he had a whole wife at home. So he switched up on her, and then he did everything in his power to make sure she did not have the baby. He, because she refused to get an AB. Um, he would say everything to try to get her to change her mind. He would also tell her that he would take her to court. He would tell her that she would lose custody. He would say things like, yeah, me and LaTocha take the baby away. The courts would see that we're a better fit, things of that nature. And then Unique tells Tasha K that Rocky actually had one of his side kids call to try to get her to change her mind about having a baby. That kind of was like, so supposedly some kid or somebody called her that was a child of outside of relationship, and basically they explained to Unique all the issues that they had with growing up that way. So I guess that was a way to get her to change her mind about having the baby. So finally she decides to go to the clinic to get the AB done. And then I guess she got there and was scared and decided that she didn't want to do it. And so then after that, she didn't do it. So he found out and he was pissed. And I guess they got into it, and then she decided to go back and get it done. So she went through with the AB the second time for the first baby. And then she also states that she was about 3 months along when she did get the AB done. And then after that, he calls to tell her that he was going to tell her not to do it. What kind of narcissistic mind games? Wow. Anyway, she does state at this point they're about 2 years into their relationship. She also says the song that's currently on her IG page, I think she also has a YouTube channel. And at first, the song featured his and her conversation, but Rocky contacted YouTube um, that had that song on it and it had the page flag. So she removed the conversation that they were talking about the baby off the song. Oof, it's a lot. So then, from my understanding from this first pregnancy, they had a bit of a break, but it wasn't long because he was able to talk his way back and they got back together. The second pregnancy was around March 2022. She does state that she believed that the pregnancy or the baby was conceived during their trip to Vegas. She does state that during like arguments and stuff like that, or just general them being together, he would send her R. Kelly songs. That's the last person song you need to sing. Not what he's been accused of. You can't make this crap up. Um, she did say she was very adamant about his inner circle knowing about her. Um, she's also says with the second pregnancy, she did not tell him at the time. However, that pregnancy did not stick. I, she lost the baby. She didn't go get an AB done. I just think she lost the baby. She didn't tell Rocky about the second pregnancy until she got pregnant again for the third and final time. Now, the last pregnancy, she does state that it was around August of 2022. That would have been a few months before the whole Soul Train Awards with Xscape. And then the day after, she went on IG and made that whole blast about him. So that would have been a few months prior to. But anyway, she says during this pregnancy, around August of 2022, she said they traveled to Texas. And then she told him about the pregnancy. Um, she did say she left him a few times, but he always managed to talk himself back into her life. She does say that he was a master manipulator. She said he told her that he was not happy at home, and she believed him. She believed that he wasn't happy in his marriage, because she never seen any pictures of him and LaTocha on social media being loving towards one another, showing like, okay, we're married, we've been together almost 30 years, we're gonna be affectionate or anything like that. She said she never seen any of that, so she was able to believe the lie that he was really not happy at home. She said he always had time for her. He always called her. He always uh, complimented her. So she fell into that. We call that the love bombing stage, or the love bombing that just show you attention 24/7. So she fell into that trap. She also said that Rocky told her that she reminded him of his mother. Um, she even states that Rocky cried about how unhappy he was with LaTocha. Wow. So she really felt like his feelings for her were valid. Here I am, I'm with a married man. He gave me the idea that he really wasn't in the marriage. The marriage was on the brink of breaking up. He wasn't happy. They really wasn't together. And then I go and look on IG, and I really don't see anything about them really that shows me that they're in a loving marriage. So she fell for the okie doke. She also says that Rocky and LaTosha's son got into a car accident. And while Rocky was on the scene of that car accident, I think he FaceTimed her. He even called her while he was on the scene of the car crash. And yeah, that would make somebody think that feelings are valid. She said that he pursued her very heavily, and there's times that she wanted to leave, but she got sucked back in. And again, she does state that he is a very good manipulator. She states that she really never asked him for anything. Big mistake. Big mistake. You're doing all of this for 5 years and you didn't ask for anything. That's crazy. She said they went on trips. They never really hid their relationship at all. The relationship was pretty much out in the open. She did say that he took her to So Death and T.I.'s recording studio. Um, she said, I believe, I want to say, recollect, she did say that T.I. was at one of those sessions. She said that she has been around his business partners and other artists that she managed. So everybody basically have seen them together, but it was just something that wasn't talked about in the open. She goes on to say again, they never hid their relationship. This is why she fell in to believe what he was saying. Um, and she really didn't see him and LaTocha, even though they were married, she really never seen a loving relationship from them. So she really thought that they had like this business type of relationship. She said their relationship was out there for the world to see. He's married to her, but they're not showing any type of lovey dovey, we are married type of situation. And it just looked like it, from her perspective, it just looked like what he was saying. It was a business relationship. So then Tasha K goes in to ask her, does she feel guilty for messing with a married man? And she says no. Um, she said no because where she comes from, her parents kind of lived together, but they weren't together. So she was kind of used to that dynamic. And it seems like a lot of these side chicks come from dysfunction. So when you ask them, are they guilty for doing that? They most of the time say no. I don't think I seen a side chick yet that's remorseful for messing with somebody's husband. So then Unique then decides after the 5 year mark, she decides to finally just come out and ask him, which is Rocky, when are they really going to be together? Like for real, for real. And then she says something like he's not going to satisfy her effed up feelings. Then as we know now, that's when she decided to upload everything to IG. At this time, they were still together. Um, she says that TMZ actually contacted Rocky while she was in a car with him. She says Rocky's PR team came up with a lie that we seen on IG that her phone was hacked. And that's what was posted on IG. His team, his PR team came up with that. And then she said he came back and said and started threatening her. And I also made this in a previous video of mine. Once she decided to renege on the whole, oh, my phone got hacked, and she really came out and said this was the truth. I just was threatened. Then, the more the threats came out from Rocky. She also said he tried to get her to erase all of the phones out of her, out of all of the messages. Excuse me, all of the messages out of her phone. When the IG situation happened. Um, and this was not shocking, but she did state that he tried to talk to one of her friends. So at this point, Tasha K, they talk about him trying to talk to one of her friends, and at this point, Tasha K um, proceeds to take 5 years of text messages, screen records 5 years of text messages. Um, you can see where he sent her cash apps. You can see where he told her that he couldn't spend time with her because it was LaTosha's birthday. And he sent her the same video that's on LaTosha's IG page where he bought LaTosha a Tesla. Or Tasha bought herself a Tesla. He just went out and picked it. And there's also uh, receipts from the airline where it had his government name on there, which is Edward. You can see where the flight uh manifest or whatever, with the tickets, and it had his name on it. Um, she had his banking account information. So this girl is not lying, even though she looks sketchy. Like I said before, she's definitely not lying about the situation. And also, Tasha goes through her phone and they come across a D pic. So I'm gonna call it a D pic. And then Tasha says that she was sent the same D pic from another woman. So when we seen her Unique on her page talking about he out here wilding, wilding. So he's not just sending Unique D pics, but he's sending everybody the D pics. So his junk is just out here for everybody to see. So then Tasha K asks her to call him. And then Unique basically says, well, he changed his phone number. But we might be able to contact him through the WhatsApp because the WhatsApp basically keeps your number or whatever number you change it to. So they did try calling him through WhatsApp, but he did not answer. So then we get to the point where we saw the little snippet of Tasha K apologizing to Unique or Tijuana or Unique. Um, she does say that she really thought they were going to be together. He said to her that he was planning to be with her after the Xscape show. Now, and we're talking about the Xscape show, the Queens of R&B, SWV and Xscape, that's currently on TV right now. But LaTosha, his wife, had picked up more opportunities, so he basically couldn't get away or do what they planned because the wife had picked up more opportunities. So Unique stated, again, she really never thought that LaTosha and Rocky were really together in a marriage because they just didn't come across that, and everything that he told her she really believed. It was just a business relationship. He was crying about how unhappy he was. Um, LaTosha and him really never acted like a married couple, so that's why she believed what she was being told. She said he tried to threaten her when she decided that she was done. She said that she found out that he tried to mess with one of her friends. And then also, Tasha K said that other women have contacted her and pretty much said the same thing about Rocky. So at this point, we're at the end of the interview. That's it. So my thoughts on the situation is I feel like I said before, like she was telling the truth, but however, she just didn't come across as very credible. She does and still looks like an industry chick. We know what that means. But her story makes more sense and is a little bit more valid. Not saying that like, oh yeah, I'm on 100% on her side. No, it's never right to sleep with someone's husband. I'm never going to say that's correct. But what I will say is from him, from the beginning of this whole thing on yesterday, seeing him have the conversation with Tasha K, he was fumbling and saying, this is federal, this is federal. Like, it really solidified the girl's story as to say, yeah, they were in a relationship. She thought when she met him that he was in the marriage. However, he was going to get out of the marriage because he wasn't happy. And she decided to sit on the sidelines and wait. Now, we know a lot of times men, 99.99% of the time, men do not leave their wives. Um, we can look at the Martell and Melanie Holt situation. The only reason why Martell and Melanie is married is because Melanie decided to leave. Martell was never going to leave his wife at all. And at this point, with this situation, with this girl, I hope that she does not fall back into the trap with him. Um, hope she is done with him. I mean, he's probably done with her by this point, but she's really pretty much came out and just told everything. I don't think LaTocha Scott is going to leave her husband. I believe that LaTocha Scott knew about this girl and plenty other girls, and like she said, I kind of get the idea that I can kind of understand the idea that she really thought that this was a business type of arrangement, marriage. Because how do you be with someone for 28 years and there's no affection there? And I can agree with her with reviewing the SWV and Xscape relationship. Like, look how Kandi and Todd, you know what I'm saying? Look how you just look at all the other girls' relationships. Like I said in my other tape, I went back and watched the Xscape Just Kicking It show. I've been on YouTube watching all the shows for SWV and it's excuse me, not SWV, but Xscape um for the past 5 or 6 years they got back together. All of the women on the show have a loving relationship with their husbands. Hell, even T.I. and Tiny, they were going almost about to get a divorce and they were showing affection towards each other. And when you look at Kandi and Todd's situation, Kandi brings her husband on stage all the time and serenades him. When you look at her sister Tamika, Tamika's always kissing and loving on her husband on her IG and on stage. Same thing with Tiny. Tiny, look how the with the whole Lady of Soul when Xscape got the Lady of Soul awards for on the what Soul Train Awards, they got the whole green dress situation. And look how Todd and T.I. was looking up at their wives like they was like so proud. Like, that's my chick on stage. Like, and then when it comes to LaTocha, it's just like a deer in headlights with her and Rocky situation. Like I even seen a show, I think it was the Great Escape tour, where all the women brought their husband, all the women had a segment where they brung their husbands on stage. And I think LaTocha was the last one. And her and Rocky like segment was so off and so weird, whereas the other women's situation kind of flowed with their husbands or their men. So I can understand why she thought that. I'm not saying she's right about sleeping with a married man, but I can kind of side with her on the fact that she thought that Rocky and LaTosha's situation was just pure business. And we do have people in the business that their relationship is just business. They're married in name only. They go do their thing. There's plenty of people in the industry that have open marriages. Period. Do I think that I'm going to side with the side chick? No, I'm never going to side with a side chick. But I can understand her point of view and where she was misled to think that he was going to leave his wife. Um, Whereas in the Martell's Holt and Melanie Holt situation, Martell told her right off jump, I'm married. I ain't going nowhere. So anyway, this was a whole mess, but it was a good interview. Tasha K asked the right questions. I mean, the girl really was pretty much an open book and told everything. But make sure you write in the comments, you like, share, and subscribe.